Hello and welcome to Never Fall. I haven't done an intro for a while now, to be honest, but we're here today not to talk about the Champions League, just to talk about transfer talk. Onana from Inter to Chelsea is most likely happening, as he said yesterday after the Champions League final. Arsenal, I'm not sure about Declan Rice yet still. He's not sure about his future. And Sancho to Spurs is actually a thing, believe it or not, Man United fans. You're going to get rid of Jadon Sancho and he might go to Spurs. And also Harry Maguire might go to Newcastle to make them worse. So you guarantee top 4 next year. It's astonishing how this transfer market is working. So Mason Mount goes to Man United to make them worse. But Harry Maguire goes to Newcastle to make them worse. And Sancho goes to Spurs. So they guarantee not making Champions League the year after. Absolutely astonishing. How's everybody feeling?
It's weirdly on a Sunday how there's so much news that popped up. And it's not even just any regular outlets. It's like Sky Sports that are putting this out there. So it's like Sky Sports trying to get one up, man. And obviously Saliba's new deal. We ain't even spoke on that. Crazy, right? We have to talk about that as well. But yeah, Abs and Mr. Souls. Mr. Souls ain't been on in a while. Come on, man. Look at the beard, man. Look at the beard game, man. Come on. You know I got the brush as well that you told me to get.
Oh yeah. It's pretty sick. Actually quite
because I didn't realize you can use it on short hair as well. Obviously, I don't like growing mine out, even though someone told me I should, but I just don't like it.
Yeah, hair. At least you lot can grow facial hair. Look at me, I still got the baby face.
You're a baby in this game, bro.
Yeah. Mine started when I was like 13, so don't worry. The early ones there.
I already know. So you got one hairy back in it.
No, not back, you know. It's weird. I've got hairy legs and arms.
You're moving like Ryan Giggs.
Yeah. I've got my arms are quite. Well, my back's fine. It's not that bad.
That sounded so sus.
But guys, you know what it is. Hit that like button if you just joined. Your questions and comments, of course, are welcome. If you want a super chat, you know what to do. You get them down there. Get your comments. Get your questions in. We're going to stop the show and answer your questions 3 or 4 times a show, depending on what you guys send. Make sure to hit that like button. Let's get to 100 likes right off the bat if you can. Hit that like button for me. So, listen, I don't know where to start, bro.
Where do you want to start? The funny story. Where do you want to start? The funny story, the major story.
Funny story, might as well.
Funny story. All right, let's talk about Maguire. No. Let's talk about Maguire then to Newcastle, because that's a funny story. It's crazy, right? That you know what's mad, yeah, about Maguire going to, because basically, according to Sky Sports, Newcastle literally inquired for a loan for Maguire, but Man United said no. But if there's money involved, then we'll talk. Basically, that's literally what's been said of today, anyways, or whether it's true or not. Sky Sports said they're not exactly the most reliable people out there anymore. I think people actually know that by now. But
yeah,
it's weird how you see Newcastle, right? They aim for these great players, but then you just got these Brexit players that they're so interested in. McTominay being one of them. You know, Kieran Tierney, he's part of Brexit as well, man. Even though I rate Kieran Tierney. And then you got like obviously now the Maguires. And there's James Maddison, you know. By the way, if anyone wants to know with James Maddison, apparently Newcastle leading that race between them and Tottenham as well. So we'll talk a little bit about that sooner or later. With Maguire, in your eyes, you guys, anybody, do you reckon it'd be a good move?
Surprisingly, yeah.
Why?
I don't know. But because here's the thing with Maguire. Listen, I'm not saying that I rate him or he's necessarily a fantastic player. However, the problem is with Harry is like with most players.
I called him Harry. You call it first name basis. You don't rate him, man. You don't rate him, man.
Listen, with Harry, his issue is that what's it called? I don't know how to say it, but I think I just don't necessarily think he's made for that a really big club where the light's always shining on you. Whereas with Newcastle, the lights on. I know they've got a bit more money. They've obviously become a better team. They've got new aspirations, but what's it called? I don't think they're like at that level where like the magnifying glass is on them pretty much the whole time, innit? So if you take him out the spotlight and just put him in a team where the emphasis isn't on him, he's not the captain, he's not seen as one of the main guys, then I think he could do a bit better, to be fair. I'm not saying he'll be levels or world class, but he could do better. And he'll definitely improve from where he's been at Man United.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just feel like
Sorry, Abs, can you? Why do you think he's good for Newcastle? Like, why do you think he suits their style of play? Is he better than Shear, Botman? Like, why is that? Why you just said he is? Yeah, it's a good move. Like, and he didn't. Like, what's good for it for Newcastle then? Like, what's in it for them?
I mean, it's hard to explain because here's the thing though. Because obviously with Eddie Howe, he likes to play a high pressing, high intensity football in it. And Maguire, as we know, is not the quickest player. However, as I said, in terms of him not necessarily being in the spotlight no more, and also to be fair, he isn't the greatest in terms of his speed, but he's not a terrible passer, is he?
So so basically there is nothing in it for Newcastle.
No, they could get. I already said he's not a terrible passer, is he? Like, he's not a useless passer.
You didn't say anything that's like.
I said he's not a bad passer.
So he's not good then, but he's not good.
He's not like world class, but I'd say he's a decent passer of football.
He's a decent passer. Is he top 10 passers at defenders in the league at all?
Nah.
Okay, so Newcastle want to compete. They don't want to get the 10th best defender in the league. You want to get
10th. He's more like the 20th.
He's more like the 20th.
I don't even know if that might be. That just might be just being nice at that. I think you can name about 15, 10. No, you can name definitely 15, 20 centre backs better than Maguire.
This is why I believe if Newcastle are doing this, they're idiots. They're stupid. They shouldn't do it. But the news is Newcastle would only have 75 million pounds to invest, which is absolutely ridiculous. 75 million pounds only to spend. Garbage.
Yeah. I think that's crazy. 75 million. Apparently, FFP are being strict on this part. So, have you seen anything on that? By the way, if they really want 75 million to spend,
there's a lot of people saying it's only 75 million. I mean, if that's the case, they're kind of screwed, because I mean, James Maddison's the only one that sounds like okay, that's an astute deal if they can get it done. But if they then waste the rest of it on Harry Maguire, someone who they don't need to depthen defenders. They need someone in the striking position, in my opinion, unless they're going to be using Isaac more in that. Then they need to get a wide player. So they need an attacker and a midfielder if that's where the allocation is going to go. Maguire makes no sense unless you play three at the back. A right-sided centre-back within a three makes a lot of sense. And that's why when he was linked to Spurs, I was like, that's quite a smart deal for Spurs to get done. But then Postecoglou came in, and obviously he plays with a four-back with a high line, which again, both the teams that Maguire's been linked to actually make no sense for where he's going. So I don't really get it. I don't know what they see in Maguire. I know when he plays for England, he's actually a decent player. But that's about all you can say. So, yeah, he's decent. But then it's over 38 games. How good can you be? And we've seen it. His concentration levels, his footballing IQ, his ability to read games isn't great. You don't have to be the quickest defender. Like Per Mertesacker wasn't quick, but he was smart.
No, but the better one for there is not Per Mertesacker, I'd say. It's more John Terry. That's the elite. Never been fast in his career, but his reading on the game is top notch. That's why he's probably, in my opinion, John Terry is probably the best centre back the Premier seen, maybe potentially. I think so. Anyways, longevity wise as well. John Terry's wicked, man. Just a shame that his off the ball antics were just not as great as his on the ball antics, on the pitch.
Let me just say something, guys. I think Harry Maguire is one of the worst defenders to play for a top 6 team in the modern era.
Yes.
Maybe Mustafi is worse than him. At least Mustafi was quick. Like, look, his level, basically his level is not even Koscielny level. Like, is not. I'm sorry.
He's a decent player, though.
Exactly. Like, even Koscielny is not top. He's not Van Dijk. He's not Diaz. He's not Ake. You know what I mean? It's not Lisandro. It's not Varane. So, for me, Maguire is not even at that level. You know what I mean? Like, he is so bad. It's unbelievable. Like, I don't know how this guy will get away with it if he goes to Newcastle. They play high line, high pressing, as App said. This guy is gonna be
I don't
a
think they're a
failure.
But you know what though? Newcastle against the bigger teams, they go deep, and that's where Maguire's not actually that bad of a shout. But it's the games where they play the bottom 10, where they do play their high line, actually play their football. That's where Maguire will get found out. So maybe Eddie Howe's looking at Plan B defenders, which makes no sense when you got 75 million to spend.
Yeah, where would you think? You'd think that I think they're looking at an attacking mid. I think they'll look at maybe a right winger, and maybe they're looking at a backup centre back. But then you're like, what about the fullback situation? What about like Kieran Tierney? Kieran Tierney's been quoted about 30 million. Brennan Lodi, I'm not too sure how much he'd cost as well because they're looking at him. But it's like 75 million. Maybe they're gonna have to shuffle some man out the door potentially.
But that's the question though. Who do they have they can let go? That's valuable.
Who's their most valuable asset that they can really get rid of realistically?
Probably
If they
Callum
want
Wilson.
Bruno,
No. Jacob Murphy.
No, but
they can get
if they get rid of him,
20 for him.
they go back steps.
that's what I'm saying. They
will get rid of Jacob Murphy. They will get rid of Matt Target. This is the people that they're gonna get rid of, and I think they can gather about 40, 50 million.
I'll tell you one guy who could go depending on what happens with Isaac, Callum Wilson.
Nah.
Yeah, that's the only one I can think of that they could let go because of his injury record and probably get like 20 million for him.
I can't see it.
They're gonna sell Alan Sam Maximum for at least 40, 50 million.
Oh, if that comes in, that's a no-brainer. No-brainer. You sell.
He's out of favour. Because Eddie Howe, have you not noticed? After the World Cup, when did you see say Maxman, by the way? And no, like Geordie 2 for Life will tell you as well. When did you actually see him feature? You see him feature in cameos. Do you not remember? The last cameo I saw that he was doing okay was against the Low in the World in the Carabao Cup final, and then Wan-Bissaka ate him up, and then he had to come off. You remember?
You're gonna sell him. It's very known that they're gonna sell him. Eddie Howe doesn't like him. He's not disciplined enough, and I think they're gonna sell him. They're gonna sell him. And this is the money.
His end product. His end product is not the greatest, and that's what's unfortunate about such a guy who you would call a 1v1 specialist. It's just everything else around him. The finishing product is not great, and it's look. I wouldn't say he's been a bad signing for Newcastle, but it's his injury. Man, pardon me. The way he turns so fast. No wonder why he gets so many injuries. It's the way Ronaldo used to turn as well. That knee injury, it's going to catch up with him. It's going to.
But do you know the truth? Newcastle will spend more than 75 million. They're going to find a sponsor deal, exactly like what Man City did during COVID. They're going to find a sponsorship deal. Wrong or right? I'm not here to judge. I'm just saying this is the reality. This is truth. They're going to find a sponsorship deal, another one that will give them an extra 25 to 30 million this year.
Maybe, but this is interesting. That look, I don't think. Look, this is obviously the first one is the Newcastle thing and Maguire. It's interesting that they're asking for loans. Maybe they might even do the same with Kieran Tierney, maybe for a loan and then maybe option to buy. And I think someone like if they're going to get someone like Cancelo, Arsenal, I don't know. Maybe they'll look for maybe a fee and it may be like an obligation to buy potentially. Do you know what I mean? Because you are looking at Cancelo like heavily, so. I can see loanees for Newcastle. They're gonna have to look deep, like literally, and seek what they can find. Because if it is to be true, it's so interesting when it's no guarantee that there is 75 million there, right? But the whole point is if they're looking at loans, it kind of makes sense why they actually might have 75 million to actually spend in a kitty. But that doesn't mean they're not gonna build up and maybe go again in January though. They just probably want a solid start to the season.
Because from what I was reading was that Newcastle, when they first got bought, and it wasn't like they got bought ages ago, but they hadn't been spending money like that for ages. So they was basically free to spend whatever money they wanted. So how have they taken it down to 75 M's in less than a year?
Because I think in January, I think January 8. Doesn't anyone think that Newcastle ate into their budget in January potentially?
No, but they had loads of money to spend. They had like over 200 M's they was allowed to spend.
Huh? When?
Like when they first got bought by the Saudis, they had over 200 M's they were allowed to spend. Apparently.
Do you know how much they spend? Do you know how much they spend?
Yeah, since they come in about 176 million.
There's Sven Botman 50, Isaac 70, 60, right? Dan Burn 25.
Gordon.
Ridiculous.
Gordon.
50 million pounds.
Then you're looking at other players that they got rid of, like Chris Wood. Somehow got rid of him for so much money. They got rid of a couple players
No,
as
they
well.
got rid of Chris Wood. I thought they signed Chris Wood.
Yeah,
Chris Wood is still in
They
Newcastle.
signed him
bro.
and then sold him the following
No,
season.
they didn't. He's still on Newcastle. He went on loan. I think Chris Wood is still with them. He's still on
No,
the squad,
he's
isn't he?
He's
No,
not.
he played
I
for-
thought they sold him to Nottingham Forest potentially.
Yeah, they sold him.
I'm
I'm
checking now. I'm checking now, but I think he's still now since I think
I'm
now
sure,
is
I'm
the,
sure he's at Nottingham Forest. I'm sure he
Mm.
played a game.
He went to
He
Nottingham
signed
Forest.
him
I'm so
last-
sure he did.
okay. So maybe he
Wood.
went to he went to Forest for 17. Yes.
He joined in
15 million
January
pounds.
and
Yes,
then
you're
got
right.
sold.
Yes,
You're
he made some
absolutely
money
right.
on him. I know they bought him, but we're talking about since the Saudis came in.
Hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, just not not the Forest did a lot and alone, but look, it's interesting, man. But another player, look, Newcastle. If we're gonna sell the Newcastle bandwagon, they're leading the race for James Maddison. Now, if you're gonna spend some of your budget on a player, now that is what I rate a good signing. But obviously, Leicester want 50 million for this guy's signature, and I don't know if Tottenham are gonna pay that. But I can't see them paying 50 million either. Like, what do you guys think in this market currently? James Maddison actually worth? Honestly,
Mason Mount is 80. Madison is worth 100.
No way. No
Let's just
way.
put it this-
Nah, but
100%.
you got look, reliability
Okay,
and
hold on,
availability.
Abs, you're
is
really-
important.
Go ahead. So
Like being available is very important. Mason Mount, the one thing you can guarantee is going to be fit. Whereas in
that's a
Maddison,
myth.
we don't
A
know.
myth. That's absolutely a myth. And I have the
Mount's
numbers.
not really
It's a
had any-
myth. Madison is available. That's a myth. What you just said is not true. Go
It's
check
out a
the
lot.
numbers.
Barely plays.
Go check the numbers. Go check the numbers before. This is what people. What this is something that is not true. Go check. He played 30 plus games every single season. Madison, every single season. It's wrong. What people say about Madison is wrong. I just checked it yesterday. We were on a show, me and Cass, and we checked it yesterday. We had this argument. Maddison is available. The maximum he missed was 50 days, and that was during a stop.
Mm.
No,
Yeah, but
to
let's
be
just
fair,
say a normal season, that 50 days is vital. That's a lot of games.
Yeah, but maybe that 50 days is because they had time for more recovery. Do you know what I mean?
no, to be fair to
Madison
him-
is always available.
no, to be
Yeah.
fair to him-
I don't think they need 45 million. I think they can. I think Newcastle, if they're going to be any good at
In that case, he's had a
No,
meaty
fucking-
season. Man. I don't
negotiating,
even know what he's done this season.
yeah, he had a good half of the season and towards the end maybe, but then he went again.
I'll be real. Like,
Let
Let me
no
tell you the
more than
numbers
30.
just for people that
No
don't
more
know.
than
Madison this year, Souls, Madison played 30 games, had 10 goals, 8 assists. Last year played 35, had 12 goals, 8 assists. The year before played 31 games, had 8 goals, 5 assists. This guy's consistent. He's putting numbers consistently for years now in a terrible Leicester team. And Apps here want to tell me that he's worth less than Mason Mount. Come on.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
is
because
true.
Mount's
This
better
is a
player.
great comment. I forgot about this as well. You're right, Abs, as well in a sense, because the mighty win here said he said that you guys need to get too savvy, meaning Ashley's literally zero expenditure at Newcastle left them with a three years to spend. But why is it only 75 million that Newcastle allowed to spend? And looking at loans for Maguire, if Sky Sports are reporting it, I can't imagine that it's further from the truth rather than closer to the truth. To be fair, it's a bit mad. Like Newcastle, like you're looking at Gabby Vega as well. Like Gabby Vega is another one on the shortlist. Clearly looking for some sort of attacking midfielder, and he would cost roughly the same amount as Maddison. So if you're leading the Maddison race and him is either one or the other. One or the other for me personally, from Newcastle's perspective, man.
Yeah, definitely. But that's where I don't know. I think
Go on.
no, that's why I think they'll probably end up signing Maddison. I don't think he'll be like. I don't think it will actually be as expensive as what people think. I think it will go for like 45 M's and for me, that's a true reflection of what he's worth. Like a lot of people say, Maddison this,
1 year left
Maddison
in
that.
his contract.
Yeah, and me personally, I've never really been a Maddison fan like that. He is a good player, but I don't think he's like this unbelievable footballer that guys make out to be. And it's just a steady Eddie, good Premier League player.
Can we know what's an outstanding footballer for you, so we know we set our bar?
An outstanding footballer.
Gallagher.
No, seriously, Apps. I want to know what you call an outstanding footballer, so I can compare him to.
Okay,
What
an
do you call-
outstanding footballer in the league. Let me think. KDB.
Yeah, okay. So okay, that's okay. KDB, Odegaard, you say?
Nah, Odegaard ain't outstanding. He's very good, but he's not outstanding.
So is
Oh,
Madison the
oh,
same as Odegaard?
oh,
Is Madison
oh,
as good as Odegaard, for example?
Listen, for me, the way I rank players is very nice. It's a very difficult club to get into like, the elite bracket in it. So Odegaard, if you talk about like the very very best players, Odegaard sits like here, and they're up there in it. And Maddison is like a few blocks further down there in it.
fair enough. Each to their
Fair
own.
enough.
Each to their own.
I think I agree with you. He's worth 45 million or 50 million just because Leicester got relegated. But his numbers says way higher than this. And I think he adds to any team in the Premier League that he joins, including Man City.
Well, I reckon there'll be more news on him next week. I think in the next
Yes,
week or
100%.
two with Maddison, because preseason's coming up. Why the hell would you still want to be staying at a championship club for the next couple of weeks before preseason? Because to be honest, championship preseason doesn't start too far off. You know, I swear they start games thick and fast, like a week before the Premier League, if I'm correct.
Yes. He's not going to play
Yeah,
championship. He's
He
not.
Ah.
Gonna
won't stay in the championship. He's gonna. A lot of Leicester's team are gonna go. The problem is they've all been so bad this year that it's gonna be hard to find suitors to go take them off. Only Maddison and Tielemans look like they're leaving.
Yeah. But there's other news as well. Moving on from Newcastle, the one that they're in a battle with for James Maddison's signature is actually today with Spurs, Tottenham, Mr. Angie, Mr. Postbox. Literally, he's trying to get something done, and they're targeting some decent players, man. I can't lie. Look, whether you rate David Raya, apparently they're really in for this man. Apparently, like according to Fabrizio Romano, they're saying that it's only personal terms that they've agreed, but it's the valuation of the fee that they just can't settle on. And Brentford, I don't know if they were prepared to get a new goalkeeper this summer because they're reluctant, literally, to pay want this 40 million price. Even his agent came out last week and said that they need to go meet in the middle and literally lower his valuation because 40 million for 1 year left on his contract for a guy that's had, you could say, 2 good seasons in the Prem and definitely a great season last season. Would you not pay 40 million for him if you're Tottenham?
100%. 100%. They need a goalkeeper. David Raya is a top goalkeeper, I think, in the league. Plays from the back, really good on the ball. And I think he is what they need exactly. I think David Raya is a fantastic signing for Spurs. I don't think they're actually going to find a cheaper goalkeeper than 40 million with that quality in the league. Not every club is going to do the Pope deal for 10 million pounds. That's not going to happen again. David Raya is still under contract. I think 40 million is fantastic, to be honest. Fantastic deal.
I think it's too much for someone like Brentford. Yeah, for someone like Brentford, considering I know they had a great season and everything, and I know Spurs are not even exactly in the greatest position to negotiate either because they were close to Brentford. I just think 40 million is in excess. I think a good negotiator would get that down to somewhere like 33 million at least if you can't budget with some about 33 million, man. I can't lie. I think he's wicked, but there's some other goalkeepers out there surely around that figure that you could think that's realistically that you can go purchase potentially. But this is Tottenham Hotspur we're talking about.
Yeah, very true. But I don't know. I think with David Raya, he's a decent keeper, but again, he's not really someone who.
Well, that guy might be in between your sticks too, potentially.
Listen, I wouldn't be happy if he came to Chelsea. I'll be real.
Why would you not be happy? Jordy, relax. We're gonna talk on that one. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that one.
Because for me personally, I don't see.
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing? Don't do it, man. Don't do it.
This guy, man. Yeah. No,
you don't even say his name yet. Go ahead.
No, with Raya, it's just like, nah, I wouldn't want him. I've got too much PTSD with Kepa, and I read something. I'm not really a stats guy at that, especially when it comes to keepers, but I read something that this guy has conceded the highest percentage of long shot goals in the Premier League since 2018, which is, considering he's only been in the Prem for 2 seasons, that's a bit of that's not good. That's not good at all.
Where is it? Okay.
Yeah. Wait. What's going on?
It's like the long shots. He conceded the most long shots in the Premier League since 2018, even though he's only been in the Premier League for 2 seasons.
Yeah, I don't know. Kepa
I
can't
believe
save.
my eyes, bro. I believe my
No,
eyes.
but
But
this is
yeah,
what I'm
I see
saying.
your
I'm
point.
not saying you're missing the point. I am one of Kepa's biggest name. I want Kepa out of my club, innit? Because I don't rate that guy at all.
You're talking about Kepa, not Raya.
No,
David
I'm
Raya.
talking about both. Because for me, I just
David
don't.
Raya has the most save per 90s in the league this year. The most
I
saves
know, but
per
at the same
90s.
time, this is where the eye test comes into it. For me, and again, it's just me. Maybe because I've got PTSD, I wouldn't sign him. He's not my cup of
What based on what? See, abs. This is based on he has the highest save percentage in the league, the highest save per 90 in the league. Stats don't lie, bro.
But
And he
but you know
plays
what
for
though?
Brentford as well,
No,
which is
because do you know
not
what
a
it
very
is?
offensive team. So they concede a lot of shots in the game.
But you know what it is though? Spurs defensively are awful. Whereas at Brentford, at least they're organised. And
Yes,
but
like, that's the only worry I have is if he makes a step up to that kind of team, where if they don't get their act together defensively, and also when you look at Postecoglou, he likes to play a high line and play like high pressing football. He's going to face even more when it comes to it. I don't know. I mean, we'll never know until it happens. But I do feel like the way they want to transition and play football, it makes a lot of sense. And 40 million could be a steal, and we could just be sat here with egg on our faces. But he fits the mold, and that's what you've got to pay nowadays, especially for a modern day keeper. Even we had to negotiate from about 35, 40 million for Ramsdale down to about 25, 30 million. That's just the going rate for keepers, in my opinion.
yeah.
yeah,
No, that's true, man. I just don't think 40 million because if we're going to flip it on the flip side for Tottenham, and I know we're going to talk about Jadon Sancho and his valuation, etc., etc. Onana is a potential target for you guys as well. Another one who's potentially agreed personal terms as well with Chelsea. He's going to be worth 40 million. So why is Raya worth 40 million when this guy who just performed in the Champions League final worth 40 million? You get it? There's not even English tax.
You know there's Premier League tax though, isn't it?
Yeah, no, there's Premier League tax, but I'm just saying, like, this is what you can get. And I'm not saying Tottenham can go and get somebody like Onana because they can't. But I'm just saying there's some keepers out there with a valuation where you feel like, you could probably go and maybe get better. Like, he's not at all right. Look, I think Wright's very good. He's definitely a good goalkeeper. But for Spurs, he would be a very good goalkeeper. But I just don't know if he's ever going to reach heights to whether he's going to become a reliable enough. But then again, man, it's just it's a difficult one, man. I just think 40 million is a hefty fee for someone that's got a year left on their deal that's playing for a club like Brentford. But then I say that, but how much did Ramsdale go for?
I think 23 M's.
23?
Or was it 30?
How much was Ramsdale to Arsenal?
About 25, I think it was.
24 million. No, about 24 million. And that's a guy that got relegated as well, right? And that's what you call a decent enough deal, considering his age and everything. Raya's like going towards his 30s and stuff. I don't know, man. It's just, I think 40 million is just hefty, innit? And I think Tottenham will be getting bumped. I mean, if you're going to build a project, you need a solid goalkeeper. You need a solid back line, of course. But I think maybe they could look towards a younger goalkeeper potentially if they want to really start building something that's got a little bit more. That's just my personal opinion. But I'm going to get this one over the line. I don't think Man United are in for this goalkeeper, I'll be honest. So I think that one I think Tottenham's literally got a battle of their own to go towards. But moving on, a guy of my own, obviously Tottenham linked with him as well, since we're staying on the subject, is Jadon Sancho. I don't know what reliability is going to be, but Sky Sports say if Man United are going to be even attempted to sell Sancho, it's going to cost £60 million. What can I say, man?
I
60 million
actually
pounds.
think at the end, if an offer comes for 45 or 55, I think you're going to sell him.
I don't think we sell him for 45 million.
I think you cut your losses because of the wage and you sell him. I think every year you keep him. The people that run the club are not idiots, are not stupid. And they know that every year he stays, and Ten Hag gave him all the chances in the world. And he might not get a chance next year to sell him, because if he doesn't get enough minutes, he was lucky this year that some players got injured and he played. If you get better players, and that I'm assuming that's the plan, even if you get a Mason Mount, he might shift Mason Mount to be a winger, like what Chelsea did before playing Jadon Sancho. I'm just saying, because I've seen this before. I've seen this. If players got injured, he might put Mason Mount as a winger before playing Sancho again. The guy proved that he can't do it at this stage. So they might think there's a chance of us to get rid of the wage and also get some money before he goes down to 30, 35 million, and we can get rid of him.
That's a big wage to cut from 350k a week. 60 million pounds on top as well. That's gonna be hefty, man.
I don't think that valuation is for the clubs to start, Cass. I think the valuation is for clubs to start bidding.
I don't think Sancho would want to move either. I think he would say, "No, I'm staying at Man United. I'd rather fight for my place."
Yeah, true. But if Sancho's gonna leave, do you not think it'd be more likely that he moves abroad?
I think so. Yeah.
One of the things about Jadon Sancho is that he's young. People forget Jadon Sancho is only 22 years old. So that means if he stays and holds the money that he gets for the next 3 years with Man United, he might not get a chance to get a big contract again. But if he goes and cut his wage to 200k somewhere else or something, and he gets 2 good seasons in that club, he still can get that 350k again. If he trusts himself, he would move. If he doesn't, and he's a scared kid, he would just stay at Man United, get the money, knowing that this is my last big contract in my life. I want the money, and that's it. This is how it looks like it, right?
It's got another 3 years on the deal as well. So yeah, maybe. I just think I looked at something a few days ago when they said Borussia Dortmund are looking to maybe inquire back for Sancho, maybe get him back on loan and work out a deal that way. But this is a difficult one. Look, for me, it's hard, isn't it? Because I think Man United need to sell this guy, because it's true, whether we like it or not, as Man United fans, anyone in here, when Sancho's contract renewals will come, which will be at the end of next season, by the way, because obviously if you've got 2 years left on his deal, you don't want to let it run too long. Is he going to get a bumper package on top of that? No, they're going to say, cut your deal down, man. He's going to leave either way. I would definitely sell him. I think there's just better players and more hungry players at Man United currently right now that would take it.
You know, I would try to, if I was Man United and we're not running the club, but for me, I would go to Crystal Palace, try to do a swap deal, Sancho plus money, and get Michael Olise. That's what I would do.
Nah. I think
he won't go Palace. He won't
him going to Palace.
It's London, bro. He's gonna live in London, and he's gonna be all right.
It don't matter about London. He's going to Crystal Palace. He ain't gonna do that.
He's just gone from Dortmund.
Why not? Why not?
Palace.
It's Crystal Palace. He can go to a.
So who do you think is gonna buy Jadon Sancho in this?
Okay, if he had the choice to go Crystal Palace or stay at United, he's staying at United.
Yeah,
and not play.
He
goes to Crystal. You know the Euros are coming 2024, right? If he doesn't go to Crystal Palace, for example, and he doesn't play in the next season for Man United, he's not going to the Euros. This kid is 22 years old. He needs game time.
It's finished.
If we forget that, if he went Crystal Palace, it wouldn't work.
So he's not finished, because Man United got rid of Zaha, who went to Crystal Palace, and
look
he
what he's
could.
doing now.
But Zaha chose the money of Crystal Palace over a move. Zaha is stupid. Arsenal was in for him, and he rejected.
Actually, there's links of him to Saudi now, and also
he rejected the money. And Souls, you correct me if I'm wrong. Arsenal were in for him about 3 years ago before he signed the 6-year whatever contract.
Yeah,
4 years ago or something.
No, we opted for Nicola Pepe.
Yeah,
that's what actually happened. Unai Emery wanted Zaha. But then the club decided.
It worked out for Zaha, right? He's a superstar now in the Premier League, right?
Yeah, but
it worked out for him.
That's a direct winger, man. That's a direct winger, man. That's been carrying Palace, bro. Let's not even talk about Sancho and Crystal Palace in the same breath. You don't rate him, then, Mo, clearly, but he's not that. He's not bad. His levels is not Crystal Palace.
Yeah,
you're saying I'm not rating who?
If you're saying go to Crystal Palace and try to work out a deal there, you're not rating what Sancho's thing then, because Sancho.
No. Thinking, not football, because I think the talent is there. Listen, I've seen the talent. I've seen the football this kid plays.
Can I be honest with you? I just don't think he's a Premier League player.
This is outrageous. I can't lie. That's an idea. It's not happening. The Crystal Palace thing is never going to happen. Never will. Never.
You know what? Yeah. Sancho's
where else would he go? Do you think he would go to Newcastle? Do you think he would go to Newcastle?
No, but any Premier League club with any sense wouldn't buy Sancho personally. I just don't think he's got the ability to hack it in the Premier League. He's made for foreign football. He's made to go to Spain or Germany. Like if he went to one of those clubs, he would bang. because it's slower and it's easier for him to actually adapt. He's not.
Might be a
got
like
the
for, like, for
ability.
someone
My
like
friend
Nabry, you know?
Souls, when is the last player you saw leave the Premier League and succeed outside? How many players you saw that
Sancho
happen?
literally did it before as he was an
Who?
academy prospect.
Yeah, exactly. See the difference? That's what I said. Who
did it.
else left the Premier League? McManaman,
Gareth
maybe.
Bell,
Who?
Gareth Bell succeeded. I'm just trying to think. Modric.
Gareth Bell didn't. Gareth Bell
Modric,
didn't even learn Spanish. I know what you're talking about. He
Modric,
joined Real
Yeah,
Madrid.
yes, Suarez.
Modric,
Yeah,
English. I said English player.
Oh,
English
English
player.
player.
English
English
player.
You could see
So
Chris Smalling
different.
did quite
Cristiano
successful.
Ronaldo left Man United being a Ballon d'Or winner, and he
No,
went to
but
win
you-
even more.
but you
I'm
could-
saying
you-
English.
Yeah, but okay, but then you can
But
I'm
no,
not
a lot of
doubting
English
it.
players
Guys. I'm not
go
doubting it. I'm just thinking that it
Chris
doesn't
Smalling?
happen often.
Yeah, because not a lot.
Actually,
You're calling this a success.
listen,
You're calling this.
Tomori's
You're
done
calling him
alright.
going
No,
to Roma a
no,
success.
Yeah,
Tammy
actually,
Abraham
Tammy
Actually,
Abraham
almost
and Chris
scored
Smalling.
one goal this year, Cass. One
Don't
goal.
matter. He won them a trophy after how long? He had a good season for them.
So
He was
you're
just,
calling so that's the level you think Sancho should
Yeah,
go,
but
a
Sancho's
Roma or something like
Sancho's
this.
got more ability than all these players, like in his left toe, bro. Like he does. If you went to Italian league,
I
you'll
agree.
rip it up.
I agree
What
with
about
you.
hold
He
on,
won't,
hold on.
but
He doesn't have-
he doesn't have the work ethics to do it. That's my
Anyways,
problem.
Tomori went there to AC Milan and won a title. Like Jude Bellingham went to flipping thingy and unfortunately didn't win the league.
Tomori is a good one. Tomori is a very good one.
Yeah,
And
Jude
Ashley
Bellingham as
Young,
well.
Ashley Young did it for Inter.
Ashley Young, yeah, that's another one. Imagine that. He done it for your club.
Yeah.
Max
Actually,
Smalling
Thing is,
as
though, I
well.
don't think many English players actually take the risk. Not
They
enough
don't.
to anyway.
They
Not the
don't.
big
No.
ones.
No, they don't.
Yeah,
I
you
just don't
guys
know.
are right.
I think he ends up going to what's it called? I think he goes back to Germany. I think it'd be a good move for them to go back to Dortmund potentially.
Dortmund don't pay money, but I think he's gonna go to a Premier League club for something way less than what we actually think. I think at the end he's gonna go to a Premier League club, maybe someone like Spurs, someone maybe like Newcastle, Aston Villa, something from that caliber, like maybe Brighton will come in for him, but it's gonna be very less than what we think. Not 60 million pounds, not 70. It's gonna be less.
Well, that's
The thing
that's,
is, if
that's for Tottenham. That's for Tottenham to. Anyways, this is for Tottenham to decide if they want to trigger 60 million and try and work out a wage deal with Sancho because he's gonna have to cut that money down big time by at least a good half. Anyways, moving on from Tottenham is Man City news as well. Other than the Kovacic stuff, that's not what I'm looking at. Jack Gorn is from the Daily Mail. I'm not too sure. I'm not gonna say I don't rate the paper whatsoever, but I don't know what the journalist is like, so I can't really put something concrete on it. But they're saying Man City are ready to intensify the interest in RB Leipzig Josko Gvardiol, valued at £85 million, with Aymeric Laporte expected to seal a move away. These guys, man. These guys just get fuck Pep Guardiola off, please. I'm tired of this guy, man.
Do you want the news? Do you want a good news? Pep Guardiola decides when he will quit Man City with the Italian clubs on the cards. He wants to coach in Italy. He wants to win the league in Germany, England, Spain, and
Why
Italy.
would he go in Italy though?
Nobody has the money to back him. The only club that had the money to back him are Juventus, Inter before the Chinese restrictions. But he wanted to coach Juventus 2 years ago when they had the money. So when they were allowed to spend before COVID. But that's it. But anyway, I think Gundogan stays that as well. I think Gvardiol is going to go to them. What else? Who else do they need? Kovacic?
I think it's replacements, man. Because that's
Yeah,
what it's
they
going
might
to
need
be.
a winger as well.
For people that tell me that I wish Pep Guardiola comes to the Italian league, I absolutely don't want Pep Guardiola in my league. Look at what Cass's face every time he says, please, Pep Guardiola, leave my league.
Yeah, and he's dominated it, man.
No, but if Pep goes to Inter, then you wouldn't say no.
I wouldn't. We don't have the money, but yeah, I wouldn't. Of course, I wouldn't say to it. No,
I don't know, man. The Gvardiol, I think they've been flirting with that since last year. Anyways, it's just that it's just waiting for Laporte to leave, which I think is a great replacement. Anyways, he's left-footed as well, young. He's got it within him. You know, he's Croatian. That's Kovacic coming in, Croatian as well. Got a little something going on. I still think they sell Sergio Gomez. I think this time around they might go in for someone like Borna Sosa, who they were linked with last year. Again, Croatian guy. They might build a little something there. Sane, you say you need Sane, but Sane's never going to move back. You don't play with that system no more. Obviously, Jack Grealish has got that left wing spot. Right wing, Sane just can't play, and I just don't think Pep likes ex players either. But Mahrez might leave, so they might need a replacement right winger there. That would be interesting to see. And then obviously it's the whole situation with the centre mids, and we only know one of them. But anyways, guys, if you're here, 350 of you, please hit that like button. 122 likes. I know we can get this to 200 likes. I'm not even joking. If everyone was literally just said, "Oh, you know what? Forget it. Let's just do it," it would hit 200 likes right now. Like, not joking. It would be there in an instant, and I wouldn't even have to ask again for the rest of the stream. But yeah, everyone has done. So big up yourselves, and if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe. But you know, like, look, we're having a conversation. I know it's only transfer news on Man City. Man City always know what they're gonna do. They pretty much get their business done quite early. Other than, you know, look, they're gonna have to replace my man who's linked with Arsenal and Barcelona. But we don't know anything about any replacement left back, right back. So I don't think they're gonna look at right back, left back potentially. Gvardiol for Laporte, Kovacic maybe for Gundogan or Bernardo. And if Bernardo leaves, I don't know if both of them leave, but they're gonna have to look at another bad boy centre mid there. And then obviously the right winger situation, if Mahrez wants to leave, I think he'll be allowed to leave. There's another replacement there as well. So they could be looking at about four signings potentially this summer, I would say. I don't think he'd want more than that.
I think they'll make more. I think they won't make as many signings, but they'll spend more money on individual players.
Maybe, potentially, yeah. Yeah, it's just I just don't know, man. Man City are on course to doing stuff. But on the other side of things as well, Chelsea Football Club, your club's a mess. But it looks like finally they're getting act together that little bit. You know, trying to find deals that actually suit the club, not just spending out crazy. I don't know what's going on with the Caicedo thing exactly, but that's quieting down. I'm pretty sure we're hearing about him tomorrow. But you're actually linked with this guy's man over here in Onana, man.
Listen,
did he not impress everyone yesterday? How much did he impress people yesterday? He makes more break lining passes than I've seen Scott McTominay doing his whole career at Man United.
Listen, you see what it is with Onana. I think Onana's a fantastic keeper, man. I don't think he's like world class necessarily, but I think he's a good keeper. And what's it called? And but I think even Inter fans will tell you, and Ajax fans, although he's very good with his feet and he's he's a good shot stopper, he does tend to have a bozo moment in him where he'll let in like a howl every once in a while. But other than that, he's a very solid keeper. You know, he looks like he gives that vibe of being a leader as well. So yeah, I'd bring him in for 40, 50 M's. You can't really go wrong. But the only issue is that Inter fleeced us last time, and I'm hoping.
Well, actually, the thing is they're actually working out a potential deal that could involve Romelu Lukaku. Yeah, so there might be some swap deals going on there, and it kind of, if anything, does that not make sense to you, Mo? You can easily Inter Milan never have an issue.
Chelsea is a dusty club, and I don't want Onana to go to their club. To be honest with me, they are a terrible club, terrible run club with some just money around, and I think Onana is better than all of them. This is my opinion. I think Onana is the second or the third best goalkeeper in the world, and App just doesn't watch enough of him, which is, I guarantee you that it's all right with me. I don't have a problem with it. I just don't want him to go. He wants to go for the money. Everybody wants a piece of that stupid pie that Chelsea offers, the money. So it is what it is. I'm sorry, Abs, but to be honest, I do want him to go. But if you agree personal terms with him and you're going to give him 12, 15 million a year, like what you did with other players, yeah, it's all right. Pay us 50. So the valuation at the moment is 55 million pounds. That is that Inter said that they won't reject that.
I've seen 40 million pounds.
No, that was last April before we reached the Champions League final. Now I think it's between 55 and 60 million.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. You're very much right. It's 55 million pound they're reporting it.
50 million pound. If they're gonna pay that, actually, even now, I think it's gonna be even more. Chelsea have the money to do it, so they just have to pay up. I really don't care. But if he goes to Chelsea and he chooses to be a loser and not play Champions League, it's up to him, to be honest. But my club doesn't have any money, which is a fact. But
would you
for
take
me,
would you take?
I would, if I was him, I would put my agent and go talk to Man United. I would 100% go to start talking with Man United. At least it's a project that is going to play Champions League next year. probably get him.
I don't see it. I think Man United got their eyes set on Diogo Costa. I think they want
Yeah,
a young goalkeeper,
I get-
23. Look, it's so nailed on that Diogo Costa thing to Man United. They're just literally waiting on Dean Henderson and David De Gea to be sorted out before they trigger anything. I think that release clause is 65 million. It's hefty, but I don't think Man United need to pay it. But will they? Probably. No, Man United probably.
But about Onana to Chelsea, listen, it makes sense, right? This guy, if he wants money, I have no attachment to the goalkeeper, to be honest. Like I don't get attached to players. I really don't care. If they want Lautaro, which is they're actually linked to Lautaro
Yes, you do.
Martinez, by
Yes,
the
you do.
way.
You, when I mentioned Barella, you go nuts.
Not as much because he's
Yeah,
one of our
100%,
best players, but I
100%.
don't get attached personally to a player. I don't.
Okay,
I actually the only player I got attached to was Javier Zanetti. It's the only player. Maybe Diego. These players is not gonna make me anything for me. If he goes to Chelsea because of the money, fine. I would be happier for the goalkeeper if he goes to Man United, to be honest, or goes to Arsenal. But Arsenal don't need a keeper. I really don't see the point of him leaving Inter to go to Chelsea if it's and you don't convince me otherwise. If it's not for the money. Like, how can they convince him to go to Chelsea if it's not with the money? I don't get it.
I don't know. Chance to play in the Premier League, you know.
Yeah, I think so. I think Chelsea. I think the thing is, I think Chelsea would end up paying it as long as but they have to get rid of either Mendy or Kepa, and I think they'll have an easier chance. I think you have an easier chance getting rid of Mendy than Kepa.
Mendy's going, bro. That's basically.
We don't know where Mendy's going yet.
We don't know where, but I think he's gonna walk in it. And to be fair, from a financial point of view, it makes more sense. Even though I do think Kepa's the worst keeper, but from a financial point of view, we bought Mendy for like what, 18 M's. So
How
it's
much?
not hard to, 18 M's.
Yeah, it was cheap. It was cheap. He had his good year. He had a great year.
Yeah,
and
18 million pounds. So if you sign someone for 18 million pounds, are you really gonna? Can you really make that much of a loss on him, even if it's for like 10 million less?
Yeah, that's true. More news, obviously, is Man United news. Obviously, that's been sparked with some Sancho stuff, and that is Jordan Pickford.
But let's all have a moment and laugh at this news. Let's just all have a moment here. I want everybody in the chat to laugh an emoji at Man United for absolutely going for both Mason Mount and Jordan Pickford in one window. I don't know the news. I sent you the news, didn't I?
Yeah, but guess who it's from? This is what I mean. Look,
Sky Sports and stuff. I don't know who's it from.
I'll tell you who it's from. It's from TalkSport. So look, as funny as it is, Man United get linked with just about every single player,
every window,
the transfer window that might be available and stuff like that, right? Jordan Pickford is not coming to Old Trafford. I tell you, not with them T-Rex arms, not with his short self, man. He's just as short as David Raya. It's not. I'm telling you now, it's not happening. When TalkSport speak, I don't listen, but we have to talk on it, I suppose, because
it's news.
Because it's news and it's funny. It's news and funny, and I know Man United hit a homegrown quota, but he is not the solution. I'd rather go pay money for James Ward-Prowse to sit on the bench.
Whoa!
Or keep Dean Henderson and put him on the bench.
Yeah, I'd rather just keep it and or whatever. I'll go get back my man Mateo Kova from back from Czech Republic or something, and literally just stick him as a third goalkeeper. I'm like, there you go. There's some homegrown quota for you. Done. Right? So yeah, man. Forget Jordan Pickford. It's just ridiculous. You know what's crazy, yeah, Souls? This window hasn't even opened yet. It opens on Wednesday officially, and it's already mental. And obviously deals have been already sorted and agreed and all this kind of stuff, yada yada yada. Do you believe in this rumor?
Do you know what? I know Manchester United are stupid, but surely you're not this stupid. I don't think even they would stoop this low. And I don't think, you know what it is, yeah? Like, as much as people have question marks over Erik ten Hag's talent ID because he's pretty much just bought Ajax players, I don't even think he's that stupid. Come on, like, you can look at Jordan Pickford and go, yeah, he ain't that good. Unless the only football you've got access to is England national team. If you're just watching England, then yeah, I get why you want Jordan Pickford. But if you actually watch him in the Premier League, he's arguably one of the worst keepers in the league. And if you is. Like,
yeah,
you know when you talk about, like, what is it, 35 million or something that the fee's been rumored to being. Like, just get David Raya at that point. Like, you might as well go hijack
Yeah, I wonder
that
how
deal.
much they're going to quote for Jordan Pickford. Oh, yeah, we're giving to you for what, 55, 60 million. That's where it'd be.
What?
Yeah, that's
60
not.
M's?
I don't know where it'd be, but that's what they'll probably say. English tax, Premier League tax, all that kind of stuff.
No,
It
but
all
he's
comes into
a.
play.
Oh no, they didn't get relegated. They just survived. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I big up TJ Warren in the building as well, one of our members. But yeah, man, I just don't believe
How
this rumor
overrated
whatsoever,
is
man.
Jordan Pickford, guys? To be
Extremely.
honest with yourself.
He's like Maguire. You know what he's exactly like Maguire, but the goalkeeper version. Club, awful, country, wicked.
Yeah.
That's
No,
it.
you know what it's with Pickford? I don't even think Pickford's overrated. I think it's just crap.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. We're not even overrating him, are we? We're not
It's
even
not
overrating
you,
him.
but the media are, guys. The
No,
media are
because here's
talking
the thing,
about
though.
him.
Because for me, to be overrated, you have to have some ratings by people in it. So it's like
Do you know what it
saying,
is? It's like they found, oh, he can kick a ball. Yeah, he must be going United. It's like, yeah, they want a ball playing goalkeeper, but not just any goal. You know, they also need to have the ability to stop as well. It's just it's a weird rumor that.
But he isn't good in short passing, building from the back. He isn't good. He just puts the ball high on the pitch. He isn't even good in passing,
But
short passing.
if United are watching,
Do you guys want to know
sign
good
him.
passing is Alisson, Ederson, the Onana. These are short passes, good goalkeeper. Like the guy that plays for Brighton, what's his name?
Sanchez.
Still.
Did you see the pass? The short pass, the movement of the ball, going to the edge of the 18, getting the ball and passing it to the other. That's a goal. That's a ball playing goalkeeper. Not just putting the ball long. Come on.
Yeah, he's
if you wanted to go down that route of like the go get something from the lower club, Emi Martinez would be a good shout as well for many teams.
I've been seeing him linked with Chelsea quite a lot.
I rate Martinez. Really.
He wants to leave Villa, innit? And I don't know how Chelsea ain't really got in for him yet. I thought he was nailed on.
Apparently, we're linked with him, but we've not actually made a formal approach yet.
Yeah, I would say so. Apparently, it wouldn't even cost that much. Big up Red John with a super chat. It says, Cancelo, please leave. Crystal Palace can have him. John,
you back yet? You back home yet? Or not yet?
His wife's a Man United fan, apparently, and kicked him out of the house last night.
His Man City, yes.
And the last bit of news, I suppose, of the day, which is actually of the night, to be fair, is turning towards your club, which happened yesterday, to be honest as well. So Saliba got a new deal, and also they're saying that Declan Rice, there could be some sort of bid or movement in the next couple of days as well, by Monday, Tuesday, which was said Thursday, Friday. Considering he's just had his parade and everything. The chairman also said that Rice has pretty much played his last game for West Ham. But Saliba, before any of that Rice stuff, Saliba, man, like, do you know any wage structure on it at all? Because I'm sure people are waiting. I'm waiting to hear what it's going to be.
The only thing that anyone, even Ornstein's, reported is 2027. In terms of how this deal is going to be structured, no one knows fee-wise how it's going to be broken down. But from speculation, he is going to be amongst the highest-paid players. So I'm looking at 200k in that kind of ballpark. Now, if that's 200k with performance bonuses, or if that's going to be 200k base with bonuses, we don't know, because even with Bukayo Saka, like, the reports came out with 300k, but that's not really how it's broken down. So, look, I'll be real. I even said, if you're looking at 200, like the way he's performed this season, if we're looking at even paying him 250,000 over the next 4 to 5 years, it roughly comes to about 60 to 70 million. Can we replace someone of that level that he's performed to this season for about 50 million, 60 million?
I don't think we can. You never know, man.
What's that?
He might be arse cheeks next season. You never know, innit? He's only had one season.
Yeah,
but
there's always going to be a risk.
Yeah, it's always going to be a risk. 4 years, though, but you can build upon that. But that means you're going to probably have to go in for a new deal if Arsenal's smart in the next 2 years. Because if it is just a 4-year deal and it's to 2027, as I said before, you usually get 2 years left and then you start negotiating deal throughout the full year before he hits 1 year left on the deal. And then it's going to be, okay, maybe by the time then he will be in 2 years. How old? Like 21, 22? He might be one of the best centre-backs in the whole world by then, He might be worth every bit.
But you know what it is, though?
I think you look at any
top player. That's what you're going to get now. You're not going to get long-term deals for arguably some of the best players in the league. It's very difficult unless you're a pedigree club, unless you're like a Barcelona, Real Madrid, potentially Man City at the moment, you're probably not going to be able to sign players to
Let me look at his deal.
7-8 year deals anymore.
Yeah, I'm gonna quickly have a little look at his deal as well.
Yeah,
But you
true.
know what? I don't understand. You're linked to Castagna as well from Leicester
Yeah, that's
City.
a weird one.
I don't
will
get
be
this because Castagna is a multifunctional player. He can play left or right. He can do either. At Atalanta, he can play wing back as well. Very, very attacking, but defensively he's not bad. I don't know how much he's gonna cost you guys. They never actually mentioned any sort of fee. I can't imagine it being anything great. But Castagna, would you? Who would that be a replacement for or an addition to?
Kieran
For the
No,
Tierney.
right
it'll be a depth signing. But the way that it's come out from the club is it's looking like Cancelo is the primary target. If we can get the deal done for, I think it's like 35 million is what we're willing to pay.
Yeah.
And then it's Ivan Fresneda and then it's Castagna. So I don't really know what we're looking to do because the thing with the club is it makes perfect sense when you look at the player profile in terms of multifunctional, can play multiple positions, and the way that we want to transition our play into getting an attacking fullback who can actually play attackingly. But the problem with like Castagna, I just don't think he's good enough for the level that we're looking to go to. Now, I know a lot of people do rate him, and it seems like a lot of people, even on the timeline, are saying that, people don't watch him. But for me, he's not the level we should be attracting. We should be looking for way, way better players and options at the moment. And that's what my worry is. Are we just settling again? Are we going to see the same traits as what Arsenal have been doing, where they go for these players who are off form to try and see if we can get these low ball targets in? And that's kind of my issues. We can't be going from Cancelo to Castagna. That's not on anymore. We need to be getting our plan A or plan Bs through the door, not these, being honest with you, not dusted players, but mid-table level players.
Yeah, it's true, man. I wouldn't understand Castagna. He's not he's a good player, but not that level player. Like it sounds like a Tottenham signing more than an Arsenal signing. Makes sense.
That's not we got to the Champions League to sign this player. Like, come on, this is what we should be doing 2 seasons ago, not when we've got to the Champions League. It looks like our transfer policy's not changed at all. And that's the worry.
Yeah, as well, like with your Cancelo, you're saying as well. I see what you're saying, Abbas Tube, as well. 35 million. Nah, City want like 50, 60 million for this guy. Like that's a crazy fee. And do you think he's going to be worth that fee? Because in 5 years, he's had 5 different managers and he's always causing an issue wherever he goes. And it's like, it doesn't spawn to me that sort of signing that Arteta would want in and around the dressing room. He's already got rid of a few of those type of players.
The problem is with Cancelo is that his game he's a bit I don't know how to explain it, but would he really, because the way Arsenal play, there's a bigger emphasis on their defenders actually being good at defending as opposed to Man City's, where it's just more about being good on the ball, innit? So I don't know.
What about Cancelo?
I can't lie.
He's absolutely going to be fantastic at Arsenal, especially if they get Rice and Caicedo. Imagine 2 attacking fullbacks with Rice and Caicedo in the middle to protect the back line. I think it's actually going to be even more offensive. And I like to see more support for this kid, Saka, because I think Ben White is not good enough going forward. I think Ben White, his center back gene kicks in sometimes and he doesn't do overlaps. He's scared sometimes. Yes, he got some assists, but I want to see someone that actually go overlap. Or Saka sometimes had to deal with 2 defenders because the defenders and the midfielders are not worried about Ben White making an overlap. I want to see that sometimes. And also, imagine having Zinchenko on the side that can invert from the left and having a Cancelo from the right and also attack. You can absolutely mix and match however you want, depending on the other team's strength. Defensively, you can look at another team and say, I want to attack from the left this game, or the next game, I want to attack from the right side with my fullback and maybe put Zinchenko somewhere else and put a defender, Kivior, on the left, put Cancelo, let him fly. I think it gives the coach amazing options, especially going to the Champions League. I think the oppositions will not going to know where to stop Arsenal. Is it left, the strongest side, or right side? I think it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
The other important thing to understand is Cancelo actually does get goals himself. If he cuts in and has a strike, chances are it's going in. And that's one thing that we're missing is goals from far. Like, yes, our midfielders are contributing in goals, but we've lost an element of long shots. And if Cancelo comes in, that's an element we start adding into the game again. So there are, like Mo said, there's a lot of benefits to having Cancelo, but the secondary benefit is if worse comes to worse, and we need to put him on the left, he can also do a job there. And he kind of fulfills that purpose of having that multifunctional, but arguably borderline a world-class player being right back and left back. And let's be honest, other than maybe this season because of the fallout, everyone's saying he's one of the best or the best fullback in the league over the last 2 seasons. So why wouldn't we go for a player like that? It's not like Zinchenko or Jesus where they were bench players or they were rotation players for Man City. This guy is a bona fide starter, or at least the quality is of a starter for Man City.
Yeah,
100%.
potentially.
Cancelo is a fantastic player. People forget that Cancelo was absolutely at some point. People were talking about him better even than Trent as being a fullback.
Yeah.
People just forget that. I'm not here to debate is he better or not, but I'm saying when you're in a conversation, that means you're good enough to start for any team in the Premier League, a top teams, lower team. He was good enough to start for City week in, week out.
Yeah,
Yeah,
true.
it's just true. It's true. And obviously smaller news. When I say smaller, I mean just for the clubs that ain't as gigantic as the others. Wilfried Zaha's got a link to PSG, whether that's going to happen or not, who knows? And the last one is Tielemans has signed on a free for Aston Villa, which is obviously a good signing for them in depth, especially that I think they hit Europe as well. So yeah, man, I think it's not a bad signing for them. I still think Tielemans wouldn't really work under Emery the way he wants to play. I still think he's arse and cheeks. I think he's very mid off the ball, and I just don't like players like that. They just get on my nerves. But yeah, man, look, I'm pretty sure there'll be more news tomorrow. I'm pretty sure there'll be Liverpool links tomorrow. It's all gone quiet on the Kone and Torah in front, who was supposed to be on a jet to Blackpool. No news there. That's why you don't do plane check-in. And all that kind of stuff. Sheikh Jassim and that stuff is coming to a close, but we should hear about who's going to be the winner next year, next week, this week, technically. As well. Is that going to happen? Probably not. But yeah, man, we'll be back tomorrow midday. Big up Souls and Abs for joining in. We'll be back tomorrow about 12 or 1 with just a general consensus of what's going on in and around football. If not, it would be around 3 o'clock. But make sure you subscribe, man. Guys, I always check the analytics. Many of you that watch this are just not subscribed. It's crazy. We're on our way to 10K. We want 200 likes as well. We're about 35 away from that as well. But yeah. Oh, man. And obviously, there's no Mason Mountain who's, man. It's recycled. We already know that Chelsea want 80 million. We already know that Man United will probably want the player. And we already know that negotiations, Chelsea aren't budging and Man United are not willing to meet that price. It's as simple as that. It will be recycled from us talking about it over and over again. But yeah, man, big up. Tune in for tomorrow. Make sure you hit the notification bell if you haven't done so. Like it on the way out, all that good stuff. And make sure you try to get to sleep with all this heat going on in the UK because it's not that nice at the moment. It's kind of, it's just not
as
nice.
hot as here.
Nah,
what are you talking about?
We
But
don't have
No.
I have
It's
AC.
different, brother,
Have
it's
AC.
different. You know
How
the
many
issue
times?
is our houses are built for the cold. So our houses are insulated. They're like double steel.
Yeah.
It's just crazy, man. It's just heat and heat and heat. It's like a sauna.
That's why I got my thing blowing on me right now, man. I've got an air cooler right there. So that's for me. But big eye, everyone. In a bit.
I have to go outside to cool down.
Nah, outside's all sticky.
Guys,
with
the
bugs.
like button before you go, it looks like this, guys. It
Yeah.
looks like I
Why
don't
not?
get it. It looks like this. Give me to 200 likes. It's free. It doesn't cost you a penny.